What's up, everybody? Jason High back here with another video. I just wanted to recap what the Kansas City Royals did this week since my last video last Sunday. Royals just finished up a 3-game series with the Seattle Mariners. They did fall today 6-5 in the 10th inning and extra innings. It was actually a pretty wild game. It was pretty slow for a long time. The Mariners took an early 1-0 lead. Cole Ragans otherwise was completely dominant today. He only gave up the 1 run in 6 innings. He struck out 9 batters. Cole Ragans is continuing his awesome season. Really looking forward to seeing him hopefully have a chance to make the All-Star team this year. I actually went ahead and voted for the first time myself for the MLB All-Star game. So for those of you Royals fans out there, I would encourage you to go out there and go ahead and go to MLB.com and vote for the Kansas City Royals for their players to make the All-Star team. You don't have to do exactly what I did, but I did not follow the Omar Infante 2014 method, or excuse me, 2015 method, where you just vote every Royals player in, but I don't have a problem with that strategy. You go right ahead. Anyways, getting back to the game today. So they did fall 6-5 after they took that early. They were down 1-0 early in the game. They tied the game at 1 later with a Freddie Fermin ground out, sacrifice fly, got the runner home, and then it was kind of quiet again until the 9th inning after the Mariners had scored 2 more runs in the top of that inning to take a 3-1 lead. The Royals did tie the game up in the bottom of the 9th with an MJ Melendez home run. Melendez has had a really tough season, but he's been hitting some pretty clutch hits lately. He had a home run in the 9th inning the other night on Friday night's game. I actually went to that game. It was a really fun time. And yeah, so Melendez is maybe hopefully starting to heat up a little bit, as is Hunter Renfroe, because they tied the game in the 9th, but then they went into the 10th inning and they couldn't quite get that third out. They had a runner at third base with 2 outs. The Mariners did. They had a chance to get out of the inning without giving up any runs, which, as you all probably know, in modern-day Major League Baseball, with the current rules, they put a runner at second base to start the inning if you're in extras, because we don't want these 16-inning games anymore. You don't want these marathon games. MLB wants these games to get over fairly quickly and get decided. And so, yeah, the Royals, unfortunately, were not able to get that final out. James McArthur had a rough day today. He threw over 30 pitches. He gave up the 3 runs, and the Royals were trailing 6-3 going into the bottom of the 10th. But Hunter Renfroe, man, that guy, like I said, he's starting to heat up a little bit. Him and Melendez, those 2 players are starting to get some hits. Renfroe's not an average guy. He's still hitting below 200 this season, but he's really always kind of been a power hitter throughout his entire career, so it is encouraging at least to see him starting to get that power stroke back. He hit a 2-run home run over into left field to cut the deficit to 1 run, but the Royals were not able to get that last run today. So the Royals did fall today. However, they did take the series, and as a matter of fact, they went 3-2 for the week. So the Royals started the week by going to Cleveland, and they had a 3-game series against them. Cleveland is the team that they're chasing right now. They're 4 games back of Cleveland. They were 4 games back when the week started because they lost the first game to Cleveland. Then there was a rain out for game 2, and then they were able to win the 3rd game. So any series in which you're playing a first-place team like that on the road and you leave back 4 games of the division and you come back home 4 games of the division back still, it's always going to be a good thing. The Royals are at the point in the season where they've built up some equity with their record. They're still 11 games over 500 right now, so they have a good record. They're just trying to maintain that record and trying to maintain playing solid baseball throughout the rest of the season. I'm really excited to see it. So anyways, then they had the 3-game series against the Mariners, as I alluded to earlier, and the Royals won Friday night's game in a wild contest. They were down 7-0 in the first inning. Daniel Lynch making the spot start for Michael Wacha, who's still on the injured list, came in and hit 2 batters, walked a couple guys, gave up a bunch of hits in the first inning. I actually wasn't even inside the stadium yet, and I went on Friday night. By the time we got to our seats, we were down 7-0. But the Royals were able to chip away throughout that entire game until they finally were able to win it in the bottom of the 9th. It was a super exciting game. So, yeah, that was a nice win they got on Friday. Yesterday, they were able to win the game as well. So the Royals still were able to take 2 out of 3 against the Mariners. The Mariners are currently a first-place team. So, again, I like what I'm seeing from the Royals overall. They're getting timely hits. The bottom of their order is starting to wake up a little bit. and then their stars are still being stars. Bobby Witt Jr. is just an incredible player. It's been so fun to watch him play. I think he's going to be starting at shortstop for the American League at the All-Star game this year, and I think it's well-deserved. And I think the Royals are looking back at that contract, as I said last week, that they signed them to in the offseason, and I think they have zero regrets. So anyways, the Royals, that, like I said earlier, had a 3-2 record this week, so therefore they did have a positive week. It's nice to see it. You love seeing that. And if they can continue doing that going forward, they're going to be in good shape. Right now, they are 4.5 games clear of a wild card spot in terms of ahead of the third team behind them. They're actually 6.5 games clear of being in the playoffs in general. And the teams right now in the wild card, I'm just going to go through them real quick, are Baltimore is 42-22 with their record. They are 8.5 games clear of that final wild card spot. Kansas City is 39-27, so there's 12 games above 500 still. And they are up 4.5 games on that final wild card spot. And then actually it's 2 division teams after that, which I like that. I like seeing that is next. Minnesota is actually the last team hanging on to the playoff spot right now. They're 34-31. So right now they're obviously 0 games ahead. And then the team right behind them is Detroit. Detroit is 32-33, and they're 2 games back of Minnesota for that final wild card spot. So right now the Royals are 6.5 games clear of being in the postseason, which is great. They're 4 games back at Cleveland, which is very manageable. And, like I kind of said earlier, I mean, it's a little early to really look at standings. It's still a lot of game left. Obviously, we have almost 100 games remaining still. So there's a lot of season left, but I really am excited what I'm seeing with the Royals right now. I do feel like one issue that they're going to really go after at the trade deadline is going to be the bullpen. The bullpen today, anytime you're playing a good team like Seattle and the game is going to go into extra innings, you're going to have the potential to give up more runs. But Cole Ragans was dominant today. He only gave up the 1 run in 6 innings. You don't want to see your bullpen go out there and give up 5 runs at all. You just don't ever want to see that. So the Royals bullpen, like I said, Friday night, they did a really good job keeping the Royals in that game, even though they got down 7-0 early. Yesterday, the Royals bullpen was able to kind of bail out Alec Marsh a little bit. He did not have his best start. So overall, the bullpen has been okay the last week. I don't think they've been a huge drag, but I do think that if you're looking at this team, I think that that's probably the spot the Royals are going to probably try to look at the trade deadline. Right now, on June 9th, it's a little early to start talking trades. It does happen. They do happen this early. Teams will make trades, but right now there's a lot of teams that are still in it, that are around that 500 mark, that are probably not ready to trade off pieces yet. But there's some teams like Oakland. They've got a couple of great relievers they may be willing to look to part with, because Oakland's already so far back in the standings. They have no chance this year. They know that. So I think maybe you could go get a reliever from a team like that. Maybe you could get somebody else from the National League, somebody that is already pretty far back, a team maybe like the Colorado Rockies. Admittedly, I have not looked at all these guys yet and to see who's available as trade candidates, because we're still just, like I said, pretty early in the season to really be ready for the Royals to make a trade tomorrow. Will Klein, unfortunately, gave up a couple runs today, and he's a rookie that the Royals called up, and he's only pitched 4 games for them thus far. But you know what? That's maybe how the Royals are going to try to improve their bullpen right now. You got a guy like Will Smith, who struggled really early in the season, lately has been a lot better. I think right now the Royals are really just trying to get their ducks in a row that are actually in the organization, and I think in the long run that's going to prove to be the smart play. But that being said, I think in the next few weeks you're going to see the Royals trade rumors start to heat up a little bit. I think they're going to start targeting some bullpen arms to see if there's anyone they can bring in. I don't think they're going to sell the farm system for a guy. I wouldn't expect them to bring in somebody, for you Royals fans that maybe haven't been paying attention the last few years. I don't expect them to bring in a Wade Davis or a Greg Holland type player. I don't necessarily expect that right now from them. I think that, like I said, there's still a lot of season left. I think as we get closer to the trade deadline, I think it's certainly possible the Royals could look to add an impact reliever like that. But I think for right now, they're going to be looking at kind of the waiver wire. They're going to be looking at these kind of smaller organizational trades to see if they can find something to improve the roster. So, all right, everybody, that's it for me today. Like I said, the Royals had a positive week. They gained some ground in the standings. They are clear of a wild card spot. I do think they still have some holes in the roster, and I think that you're going to start seeing in the next few weeks some momentum for them to try to address those holes. Thank you, everybody. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the page. And if you have any questions or comments about the games this weekend, if you went out to the games, throw them in the comments section. Let's talk about it. All right, everybody. Have a great night.